Hi guys, sorry I had an issue. I couldn't go live for some reason. I had an issue with the previous one where I scheduled it. So I'm just going to quickly just click a link to the original video so that the people who are waiting for me there can find me. Just 1 minute, guys. So how do I do this? 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Just so I let the people know that I'm live on another live stream. If you're here, you can definitely say hi. Okay, so hopefully this will solve the problem. Hi. Hi, Rima. Hi, Angel. So I'm glad that this worked out. I don't know, last week when I scheduled the thing, I did it so fast and I put a live stream, a separate live streaming software, not YouTube. So when I came in now to do this, I could not figure it out. So sorry. All right. So okay. So let's get started with the questions. This is a pure Q&A session. I'll be answering your questions. Thank you for your patience as I came on. Welcome everyone. So let's get started. So Angel is asking, how can I reprogram my mind with my subconscious mind? Uh, there are two ways. You can do that through affirmations. You can do that through visualizations. But I think that the best and fastest way is through affirmations. So you can take any subject matter, whatever it is your limiting beliefs are around that issue, you can go in and like figure out what the issues are and just affirm for the opposite of them. So if you have problems with manifesting money, you just repeat a new story into your subconscious mind around the topic of money, or if it's around love. So it's really about repetition. I highly recommend you watch my video that's called How to Trick Your Subconscious Mind into Believing the New Story. I literally tell you how that works. Everything you repeat has to go into your subconscious mind, has to be impressed. So that's the way. It's through repetition or through visualization. Even if you are visualizing something and you're really living it out as if it's real, that is like a literal physical experience, a literal experience you're having in physical reality. So when you are imagining, your subconscious mind doesn't know that that's not true. So you can be visualizing that you have always had the best relationships, that you're loved, cherished, and imagining that different partners told you that that will become your reality, because your subconscious mind doesn't know that this is not real. So that's another way to basically reprogram your subconscious mind. How do you deal with haters' opposition while manifesting? George. Essentially, I don't talk about my manifesting with anyone who's not into manifesting. That's my opinion, that you should not share it with anyone, especially when they don't get it, because then you're going to sound a little bit delusional. They're going to think you're crazy, whatever. So don't share with people. Try as much as possible to just keep that to yourself, or to share it with people that you are really close to. So I have a close group of manifesting buddies. We share things with each other, and we happily share things with each other, and we're always encouraging each other, and we always tell each other this is possible, anything's possible, and we encourage each other. So you kind of don't want to include people who are either not into manifesting or against manifesting for whatever reason. Hi, Les. I'm glad it's working now. Hi, everyone. Rima, so I would love to know what your explanation is in law of assumption when people say about putting yourself first, especially when it comes to an SP, but also in general. I think here, when they talk about putting yourself first, it's more about loving yourself, valuing yourself, having a good self-concept. It's putting yourself first in the sense that you love yourself first and foremost, because that's the way other people are going to love you. So if you don't love yourself, if you don't believe you're worthy of love, if you don't genuinely love yourself, you're going to have that mirrored back to you essentially by the other person. So that's why they say everyone is you pushed out, right? So you need to love yourself first and foremost and value yourself. And in that love, those people are going to reflect it back to you, essentially. I hope that answers the question. Evie is asking, how do you stay so calm and positive all the time? I'm not actually, and my friends. I have friends who are there with me through it all. They've seen me in tears. They've seen me like really waver, and I'm not always calm and positive. It's about I try to bring myself back. That's the thing. So I've had low moments. I've had periods of my life where I was really low, and I shared in my last session, that in my last live, that I went through a dark night of the soul. It wasn't it was about 2-3 years ago. So yeah, I've gone through periods where I was in depression and sad and not at all positive. But you bring yourself back. That's the thing. And when you know this stuff, you can't help but bring yourself back, because you know that you are a creator. You know that you have the full ability to create and turn things around. No matter how bad circumstances look, you always have the opportunity to change that. So it's just with that mindset that you bring yourself back. And in the end, it's not about always being positive, because again, in law of assumption, it's not about always being positive. That's law of attraction. Like I used to feel really bad when I'm not feeling good or I'm not feeling positive. I would be fearful that I'm going to create something bad, but that's not how it is. It's essentially, in law of assumption, it's about what you're assuming. So if you assume that your emotions don't matter and you can, be crying and manifest your desire, then absolutely you can. It's about not letting your thoughts spiral. Your emotions are not that important, essentially. I hope that makes sense. So maybe you live in Mercury retrograde. It's funny, because Mercury retrograde, I used to always say in the past, I am feeling horrible. It must be Mercury retrograde, and it would turn out to be Mercury retrograde. Uh, I kind of now have an assumption that I'm not impacted by the planets. I do really have that assumption, because I know that Mercury retrograde goes on for about 3 weeks. So I don't enjoy being not in a very good place for 3 weeks. So I definitely assume that I'm not impacted by that. Though if you assume, even if you don't know it's Mercury retrograde right now, if you assume that the movement of the planets impacts you, you will manifest that. Okay, Pinky, my family talks negative things like I may never get married. Oh, they may scare me by telling this almost every day. It's affecting me. What do? I want to get married. So probably they are saying this from a perspective of 3D. They think maybe you're not putting yourself out there, you're not happy with anyone you meet. We've all been there. So that's where family is coming from. Is like you need to kind of take the action to bring in the marriage. But ultimately, with manifesting, that's not the case. 3D doesn't matter. You bring it in through your thoughts. So literally, you can have someone knock on your door and they'll be there, literally. So don't don't be bothered or impacted by them if they say this. If your family is saying this, you kind of need to just not listen and say, yeah, you're right, and I'll do what you want or whatever. I'm not bothered by this. And then mentally you just affirm that you have met the right person and you're getting married. That's how it is. They probably mean really well. So I have been manifesting this one particular subject forever. SP. How do I know if I'm doing something wrong or is it just a bridge of incidents? The thing with this, anytime you are manifesting, whatever it is, whether it's an SP, whether it's something specific, whether it's something general, you have to persist. You really have to persist and you really have to disconnect with the time, because as the time passes, if you start to question if you're doing things right, you're going to go back into this loop of thinking you're doing something wrong and then manifesting yourself doing something wrong, and you kind of get stuck in that cycle. Just believe and know that you're doing everything right. You just persist. You keep your eyes on the prize and be unconcerned with physical reality. I know that that sounds difficult at times, but I promise you, it will come through. Just persist and be completely unconcerned with the time. And just assume that you're always doing everything right, because remember, anything that you assume has to manifest. So ultimately, that's when you assume that you're going to manifest and that you're doing everything right, you're going to manifest. So you kind of just have to maintain that assumption. How to have unwavering faith that your desire will manifest. How not to lose hope. The faith comes from the manifesting process. That's my faith has come through my own experience manifesting various things. It's like I reached a stage, there's no way this does not work. So I have trust in the process. I have trust that this works. So that's the faith. The faith that the law of assumption and manifesting absolutely works. And when I do certain things, it has to manifest. When I do affirmations or whatever the technique you're choosing, visualizations, when you're doing this, you know this has to manifest. That's where the faith comes from. Sometimes you may have doubts, and sometimes your doubts are around your desire, but when your faith is in the process, is there, you maintain it. I also highly recommend you look at success stories online. There are some fabulous Facebook groups out there. I personally love Sammy's Facebook group. So many amazing success stories. She shares them on her channel, but join her group. She has a lot of success stories there. People share them, and by all means, look at that. That is evidence. Like that will also help you remain faithful to your desire. I've been manifesting my SP for over a year. Very little movement, still no contact. How to believe movement is happening and to keep persisting. I still sometimes linger on hurtful memories. Yeah, so here, the hurtful memories are very important to release. So the things you can do to release them is through tapping. I highly recommend tapping. I've done it myself. I've basically shared it with clients. When you tap out those hurtful memories, you kind of heal yourself from them. Other times you might use this exercise where you say, what must I believe about myself, my SP, or circumstances in general to still be so triggered by these hurtful memories? When you ask that question, if you decide not to do the tapping, I think the tapping will really help. But if you decide to use this exercise where you're asking that question, you're going to uh, bring up the assumption that's kind of not healed. It might be that I'm not lovable, I don't feel lovable, or my SP doesn't value me, or it may bring up some childhood memories of or assumptions that you've adopted from childhood that you're not lovable. Whatever it is, you can then bring that assumption and say, well, that's not true, and you can release it. And with that, you actually heal the circumstance, you heal those hurtful memories. Sometimes these memories kind of stand in the way, not always, you can assume that they don't, but if it's coming up for you and you're immensely triggered, you may want to do this exercise, and as well ask, and as well maybe tap it out. So there's the quick tapping where you just say, I release and let this go, 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 and then it's safe for me to release and let this go, and you say peace. This is actually the quick way to tap things out. And I think that's also very valuable. And you do it on the opposite side, and you keep doing that until you no longer feel that hurt. It's actually so magical. All my clients who have tried this have seen the impact of it. It's just like, for the longest time, I didn't really resonate with tapping. I once saw Gabby Bernstein, she was tapping and talking so negative the whole time. Now, that's part of the longer process, tapping processes. I don't resonate with that. I couldn't do it. But the quick tapping is actually extremely powerful. Now, I'm sure the other tapping method is also powerful. I just don't personally resonate with it, but it works really well. And also, Les, you want to persist. Like, try to not entertain the option that this is not going to work. Try not to entertain those stories of people not manifesting. That's not an option. Because when you have that doubt, you're going to also manifest the stories that reflect your doubts. So the more you say, I believe this stuff works, the more you're going to see success stories that match that. You have to persist. That's it. So, Abhine, I guess. Can we manifest breakup for someone, for a friend, because his girlfriend is super toxic? Yes, you can. But ultimately, you can envision him being super happy. You can also envision the girlfriend being very, very nice. Like, you can manifest her being nice. Ultimately, yeah, you can manifest a breakup because that person is in your reality. They're a supporting actor, and you've created your friend to be with a super toxic girlfriend. It's your creation. So maybe you maybe have an assumption that very nice people always end up with very bad girlfriends or boyfriends, whatever. You don't know what the assumption is, but you created that. And so you can either create a shift in that girlfriend, or yeah, you can manifest for them someone better. Hi, Mona, just dropping in to say hi. Lots of love. Thank you so much. Lots of love to you too. Thank you. Arena, wow, you look beautiful. Greetings from Vietnam. Thank you so much. Thank you. Enjoy your time in Vietnam. Patrick, okay, hi Mona. I love your content. Thanks. It's been helping me. What do you think? You're welcome. What do you think of affirming in the positive while doing tapping? Thanks in advance. Yeah. While you can tap out some unhealed assumptions or triggers, you can tap in positive affirmations and assumptions. So absolutely, you can just do the affirmation and say, I am very lovable. 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 I'm very lovable. So yeah, you can definitely tap in your affirmations. So it's the same concept. You can tap out the ones that you don't want, and then you can tap in the affirmations that you want to basically affirm for, and you want to impress into your subconscious mind. You actually do that faster. And to be honest, I don't understand 100% why tapping works. I just know that it does. So definitely you can do that. Thank you for asking that. Mona, what if no techniques or as hypnosis, etc., is effectively changing your old belief about a certain topic for months? The core belief being, in this one matter, nothing you try will ever work. Okay, first of all, that's an assumption that it's hard to let go of a belief. That's the first thing. So make sure that you don't have an assumption that it's hard to let go of beliefs, that they need a lot of work, that they need hypnosis, regression, and all kinds of techniques to get them out. Actually, just bringing them into your conscious awareness is enough. Even so, just affirming for what you want, it will override them, essentially. Now, that's the first thing. The second thing, sometimes you haven't addressed the core belief. So the core belief, you might think you've addressed the core belief, but it's not the core belief. You might have a number of secondary beliefs that are there to support the core belief. So if you're not able to release it, then it means maybe the core belief has not been released. But my suggestion, because you can go into a cycle of thinking you have more beliefs to release, and you're going to keep going on and on and on and trying and working on this nonstop to try to release it. And ultimately, actually, you're just assuming all of this and you're creating it. So my suggestion is just have this assumption that anytime I affirm for what I want, I'm overriding any beliefs that are in my subconscious. Just focus on what you want and affirm for it. That's it. You may also want to affirm that you manifest everything that you want, literally. Like you don't have any blocks, and you can affirm everything that you want. The reason I say this is because I noticed with many of my clients, when I'm doing follow-up sessions with them, they say, well, I did this. Why do you think that is? This manifested. Why do you think that is? Like they're constantly in a perpetual state of asking, why didn't I manifest? There must be some belief. I must be doing something wrong. I don't think that's helpful. So yeah, maybe just do it one time, bring out all those, assumptions that you have that are not serving you, and then let that go. But once you do that, just keep your eyes on the prize. Like, just move forward, start from today. It doesn't matter. Because as you shift in every single moment, you're shifting physical realities in every single moment. You're a new person. And when you're that new person, your past also changes, your identity changes, and all the beliefs that match that identity are changing. So it's actually much easier than you think. So Les is asking how to deal with missing SP while manifesting her. Does this imply lack to subconscious mind? Yes, in a sense. Now, if your SP was, let's say you were with your SP and she was traveling, you're going to miss her. That's normal. But there's a difference between missing her as she's temporarily traveling, which can be a state of wish fulfilled. You're with her, but she happens to be traveling. But also there's another one where you're kind of waiting for her to come into your life. That is lack. So you need to assume that you are with her. You need to assume that you are together. You can say, I am in a happy relationship with my SP. We are happily together. That's all you affirm, that state of wish fulfilled. And then you never let yourself go into that state of lack, of missing, because you can't miss her when you're saying these statements. Strangely enough, you can't say, I am with my SP, we're very happily together, and miss her at the same time. It doesn't work. It means if you're missing her at the same time, it means your mind is going, your conscious thoughts are going in opposition to your affirmation, which is something I said about robotic affirming. When you're affirming robotically, make sure your thoughts are not going in opposition. So long as you're saying the affirmation and knowing that just by saying that affirmation, you are with them, you are in the state of the wish fulfilled, your subconscious mind thinks you're with them, it's going to manifest. So that's where you need to kind of just trick your subconscious mind into thinking we're together now. Because missing them is then telling your subconscious mind you're not with them. It's a thought. It's missing them is a thought that they are not here, and that's impressed also into your subconscious mind. Hello, darling. Good evening. Inderjeet, is that your name? Rima, could you give an example of when you say putting yourself first is by valuing yourself and loving yourself? Okay, so here, I'm not sure I get your question. Are you implying that putting yourself first feels like you're being selfish? Because I want to tell you something. You have nothing to offer anyone if you are not putting yourself first, if your cup is not full. So I'm not sure if I got the context of what you're saying, but by valuing yourself, you have to put yourself first. You have to fill your own cup first, because then you have nothing to offer anyone. So I'm not sure if I got your question. Please let me know if you meant something else. So I want to manifest his breakup because he's literally in a poor condition with that girl. Also, he says that he doesn't want her anymore because she's cheating on him and he wants a peaceful breakup. Yes. So here you can envision your friend in a happy relationship with someone else. Neville always used to give this as an example where, let's say, his friend is unemployed or unhappy, or he has some sort of problem, he would envision his friend thriving. So you can always envision your friend thriving, and then he will be thriving. So absolutely, just envision and say he's absolutely going to manifest someone who's right for him. You either envision him in a happy relationship or you affirm for him being in a happy relationship. Evie, while visualizing, do we have to visualize the same scene every day? That's the thing that Neville Goddard, and I used to say that as well. Neville Goddard used to, he said that you should envision the same scene. And some teachers of Neville say that. I would say, so long as the scene you are envisioning represents the end, it's enough. That's my opinion. Now, not everyone may have the same opinion. I think that if you are envisioning different scenes relating to the end, then yes, I would avoid trying to envision the middle or how it's going to unfold. Envision the end, not the middle, how it's going to unfold. That's where sometimes you may have resistance. Although some people absolutely envision the middle, by the way. But if you feel that you're going out of alignment, you're feeling the resistance, you're feeling, I can't imagine how that's going to happen, then try not to envision the middle. But yeah, I would say you don't need to stick to one scene. That's my opinion. Not everyone's going to agree with me, but I think that you absolutely can envision multiple scenes. Is it okay to affirm when we are feeling low? Yes, absolutely. When you're feeling low, it's a reflection of something going on. No, let me repeat. When you're feeling low, sometimes it's a reflection of a thought. Sometimes you're just having a bad day for no reason. You like kind of wake up on the wrong side of the bed. So sometimes it's subconscious patterns as well. So for example, I'm the sort of person who gets a little bit down when it's not sunny outside, when it's cloudy. It's just subconscious, something from the past maybe. So I'm just feeling low because of that. That doesn't matter. So you can absolutely affirm for that. Now, if you feel low because there's something going on in your conscious mind, then absolutely affirm and redirect. Like, you want to affirm. It doesn't matter how you're feeling in that perspective, because you kind of want to shift the thought that's going on in your mind. If you find it hard, if you're like, you've been spiraling this whole day and you find it hard to redirect, then I would recommend you switch off. Try to just do something that makes you happy and get out of your thoughts. Sometimes redirecting when your thoughts have spiraled enough may feel difficult, maybe. But some people actually can redirect immediately. So you kind of also want to make an assumption that I can redirect immediately. Or should I wait to feel better in order to affirm? So I've answered that question. You don't need to wait until you feel better. I find it very difficult to stay consistent with affirming. Any tips as to how I can stay consistent? The thing from my experience when it comes to affirmations, if there are too many, you might start to find it hard to keep up with them. So the thing I have done, what I do with my clients, is sometimes I just have a list of affirmations, a one-pager, that they just read through in the morning. I ask them to read through that in the morning. And then during the day, repeat 2 to 3 only. And just repeat them while you're doing your coffee, while you're cooking, while you're cleaning, while you're driving, while you're running errands. They're kind of rolling in your mind, It's not like sitting and dedicating time for it, if that makes sense. For me, at least, I find it hard to do that. So I affirm while I'm doing things, while I'm doing tasks. And sometimes I've found the most valuable one is finding one affirmation in relation to a desire and just affirming for that robotically all day. That's also super powerful. But it's like, reading through it once a day has been really valuable for so many of my clients. Like, that's been enough. They just read through it in the morning for like 10 minutes and then that's it. They let it go. Remember, you don't even have to affirm. You're affirming to deal with the opposing thoughts, to cancel them out, right? That's the whole point. But ultimately, if you're able to bring yourself back and not spiral and you're able to bring in your conscious opposing thoughts, then definitely you can do it without affirming. You're most welcome, Sacred Union. Okay, let's goddess. I understand, but sometimes it's very hard to live in 4D and not feel sad emotions due to 3D conditions. How to be human and reconcile these two states. You know what? When you're saying this, I feel like there might still be something unhealed. There might be something. Maybe you're observing them, what they're doing. There is a reason why you're missing them. Because I'm telling you from experience, when you affirm, you can't miss them. I know that we are human. I'm human. I hope so. So, yes, you may have passing moments. The passing moments are okay. It's where you are predominantly, ultimately. But it's about not letting yourself stay there all the time. Passing moments is fine. So you really, really, like, you need to place your manifestation as your number one priority. So if you're going to give in to feeling sad and emotional a lot of the time, That's not going to be helpful. You're welcome, Evie. Rima, I don't feel I put other people before me, so maybe the filling my own cup is not needing anything from anyone, valuing loving myself. Yes, yes, that makes sense. It's really about filling your own cup so that you don't need others, but also when others need you, you have to put yourself first, because if your cup is not full, you have nothing to offer them. You know what I mean? It's important. And I've lived that. I've lived putting other people ahead of me, and then I had nothing to offer. So when you put yourself first, you then have something, you have a lot to offer from that perspective. You're welcome, Les. Arena, do you have any idea how to reprogram your subconscious mind to eat more and not gain weight? You say, no matter what I eat, no matter, and then you said, I am very thin and afraid of gaining weight. I have a restrictive diet and exercise a lot. Yeah, you can. Actually, when I was much younger, I used to eat whatever I want and I was this thin. So you can affirm that you, no matter what you eat, you always stay thin. And I had an assumption that I don't gain weight, but then I started to buy into the assumption that, oh, as you grow older, your metabolism slows down, and so you start gaining weight and it's hard to lose it. And then that's where you kind of need to let go of those assumptions. You can say, no matter what I eat, I always am thin, and my metabolism is always uh, very high. Okay, Divya, I've done 60,000 plus repetitions of an affirmation. How long will it need to manifest? Oh my gosh. That's a lot of affirmations. I would tell you, drop that. Like, don't do thousands and thousands of repetitions in order to manifest. It means you're not in the state of the wish fulfilled. And here, like, I want to emphasize, you can say as many affirmations as you want, so long as you're not doing them and then saying, why didn't I get my manifestation? It's perfectly okay. So long as you're always in the state of the wish fulfilled, it's okay. But if you're doing like 60,000 repetitions, which to me sounds like too much, like it's too much. I did 10K. I tell you, I did 10K and then I was done. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. It's too much, And actually, when you're doing that and you're listening to it, I listen to it, obviously. I don't repeat them with my own, like out loud, or repeat them verbally. It's a lot, right? So I listened to it and still it felt like a lot. So let that go. Let go of the assumption that you need to make hundreds of thousands of affirmations in order to get your manifestation. That's not true. How many times have we just set an intention and manifested it? Like, control your opposing thoughts. That's the thing you need to do. That's the thing you need to do. Hi again, Patrick. What do you think of saturating the subconscious mind with the Parrot app affirmation recordings while asleep? Have you had any positive experience with that approach? Is it effective? Personally, I don't like sleep meditations. I've done them, but I wake up, and that's maybe I have an assumption about that. I don't want you to have that assumption. It's just my personal experience. I have not woken up feeling good. I have woken up feeling tired, depleted, because in my head, my subconscious mind is working the whole time. So I personally don't like it, but I know a lot. Sorry, a lot of people who have actually manifested doing that. So it definitely works. My approach, for me, it hasn't really worked for me. Can we pull ourselves out of depression using the law of assumption? Absolutely. I have to tell you, I have multiple clients who have come to me with mental health issues, even OCD, anxiety, depression, that have been able to, and I'm not saying just the people who have worked with me, I've also seen it by other people, but personally, I've seen it with my own clients. They have basically gotten themselves out of depression. Depression is all about the thoughts. And I've personally been someone who experienced anxiety and depression in the past, anxiety specifically, over 20 years ago. And yeah, it's all about the thoughts. You kind of need to disconnect or disengage with the thoughts. I highly recommend The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Really helps you become present and not engage with your thoughts. You're welcome, Rima. Les, I'm affirming much less for my self-concept than for my SP and see great improvement in how people treat me, but with my SP, zero visible movement since November. Yeah, that's your birds before land. When you are affirming and seeing movement, whether you're doing it for your self-concept or for your SP, when you're affirming and you start seeing movement by other people, it means your SP is next. Stick with it. It's easier to see movement by people you're not concerned with, but it's telling you it's working. And I promise you, your SP will come in and tell you, well, I was thinking about you all this time. You have to know that when you're affirming for your SP, they're thinking about you. They can't help but feel that. It's law of thought transmission. Rima, when you have impressed the subconscious mind with the new story, how does that then reflect in the 3D? Is this purely due to a shift in your energy related to quantum physics? Yes. Okay, so in law of attraction, they say it's a shift in your vibrational frequency. In law of assumption, it's a shift in your state of consciousness. So yes, both of these are helping you. Now, when we're affirming through mind, let me show you this. When you're manifesting through mind, you're working here. When you're not affirming, you're choosing a new identity, you're working at this level. And so when you shift from identity A to identity B, automatically everything that matches all the beliefs, thoughts, emotions, actions that match identity B will automatically be there. But sometimes out of pure habit, your conscious thoughts are going to continue to match the old identity. You're shifting back and forth, literally, in every moment. So these may still come up. That's why you're doing it at this level, so that you impact the conscious thoughts, if that makes sense. Because then your conscious thoughts are also a manifestation of your subconscious mind and beliefs. Sorry, I have to pick up my pillow. I hope that answers your question. Arena, you're most welcome. They program us in such a way that with age we will get fat, that we start to panic and it's hard to jump over it now and believe that we can afford your beloved food. I know, I have to tell you, that's one of the things that, I also have to deal with. But ultimately, just keep affirming that I'm always looking great no matter what I eat. I'm always at my ideal weight. I'm always happy, healthy, and thriving. So just keep affirming and don't entertain those beliefs. Just keep affirming for it. What are the signs that our manifestations is near? You start seeing movement. So, for example, any movement in relation to your desires. So, let's say you're manifesting a new job. You start getting calls from companies that want to interview you, or you might start receiving emails from people telling you that if you're interested in this job. That's an example. So you start seeing shifts, movement, hope that this is going to manifest. I mean, if you give me a specific example of what your manifestation is, maybe I can give you some signs. Sometimes people see numbers, repeated numbers are signs as well that your manifestation is near. My friends and I have this, we say anytime you see a cream colored mini, the card mini, it means I'm going to manifest it very soon. It's my friend who came up with that, and it's a cream colored mini because you don't see it that often. And so anytime I see a cream colored mini, it it's a sign that it's going to come very soon. I remember one time I was saying, oh, I just want a sign that my desire is going to come about very soon. I was driving on the highway, and then this cream colored mini drove right past me. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, so that was a sign for me that my manifestation is near. Is it okay and worth ignoring if we see something opposite of our manifestation, or is it really killing the manifestation? Uh, so if you see something opposite, it doesn't mean anything about your manifestation. It just means that you need to ignore it and you need to continue doing what you're doing, affirming. And I don't like to put this out, but sometimes it's a purge, though I don't want you to manifest that, but just keep persisting. That's essentially it. Do not be disheartened by that or discouraged. Do you have any beauty tips for us? You look really young and gorgeous. Oh, thank you. My assumption is that I'm youthful and timeless at any age. I'm 50, by the way. So I don't do anything major. I just have this assumption that I'm youthful and timeless at any age. I believe that at 60 I'm gonna look young. I believe at 70 I'm gonna look young. I just have that belief. And also it helps that I see that this is very now common. Even when we were younger, even when we didn't have Botox and all that, and whatnot. Although I don't think there's anything wrong with Botox, by the way, but like even before we had that, I used to recognize actresses who always looked super young, even though they were very old. So I have this assumption that you can still look young at any age. So, Les, yes, I pulled myself out from COVID-19 last year just by affirming. You see, it works. Hi, Anna. How are you? Oh, thank you, Les. Thank you so much. Hi, Mona. I just wanted to know if we can still manifest without being in the wish fulfilled. Because when I affirm, I don't feel anything and don't feel like it's real. Yeah, actually, I spoke about that in one of my videos. I think it's the 10 limiting assumptions around manifesting. The concept of the wish fulfilled is sometimes misunderstood. The wish fulfilled is really essentially saying not being in the state of the wish unfulfilled, if that makes sense. So the state of the wish unfulfilled is you feeling like you're in lack, thinking in lack. Where's my manifestation? Why didn't I get my manifestation? This is not working. Where's my desire? Like going on and on about not having your manifestation. That is state of wish unfulfilled. But being in the state of the wish fulfilled can be you affirming robotically, because your subconscious mind doesn't know that that's not real. You're affirming robotically is you just repeating. It's going into your subconscious mind, right? You don't have to feel it. And also by affirming and feeling it, that's also state of wish fulfilled, but you can't always be there. So robotic affirming absolutely works. The thing that's even more important is not engaging with your opposing thoughts. So just not thinking about it in opposition is enough. Not thinking in opposition is state of wish fulfilled, in my opinion. So you absolutely don't need to feel it's real. My SP has a cream colored car. Awesome. That's your birds before land. It's okay if it's not a mini, but cream colored car. It's not common. You'll notice there aren't that many cream colored cars. Anna G. Since working on my general self concept, which is a gradual process and requires patience. Okay, not true. Yeah, okay. It's always good to be patient. That is 100% the case for manifesting. But your self concept doesn't require time. And I mentioned this in one of my videos. I spoke about it that your self concept doesn't need fixing. It's a mental shift. It's a mental shift that I'm not going to engage with opposing thoughts around my self concept, around not feeling good enough, about not being worthy, about not being attractive, about not being this or that, about not being smart. Like you're not engaging with the opposing thoughts. And automatically, your self concept shifts when you don't engage with it, if that makes sense. So I used to, I'll continue your comment, but I wanted to say that. I used to be bothered by people cutting me off while driving. Now, if it happens, zero reaction. Well, that's also fine. Uh, Even if you get bothered by people cutting you off while driving, that's law of attraction, saying don't get angry because then you're going to manifest something bad. I think that's an assumption. I think that it's good not to react. By the way, I used to be really like, I used to drive in Lebanon. I was one of those people who drove like the Lebanese drive. Like we just, I'm sorry, but we don't follow the rules in Lebanon. And now I live in Dubai. But before, I used to get so triggered and angry. Now I don't care. So it's actually a good thing not to have a reaction. I just want to point out that you're not going to manifest something bad if you happen to get bothered. Arena, so we affirm that we look younger and more beautiful every day. Absolutely. Affirm that. How can I manifest new love and get married to that person? So you want to manifest someone new. That is the easiest thing to do. Okay, I have that assumption, but manifesting new love is just set the intention. I'm meeting someone amazing who's just perfect for me. Just set that intention and allow it to happen. You can say, I've met the love of my life and we got married. Or, like someone who's just perfect for me and we got married. It's very easy to manifest. Now, of course, you can also affirm. In this case, you can say, I am happily married to my ideal partner, to the love of my life, or someone who's just absolutely perfect for me. And that's it. You just affirm that and you can get married. You can also visualize yourself getting married, or visualize yourself, as Neville Goddard says, being already married in the state of the wish fulfilled. You visualize that before going to bed. That also works. I say it's the easiest thing to manifest new love because you're kind of open, like you're not waiting for someone to change, although also manifesting an SP is very easy. Wow, that really helped me. Thank you. This really cleared up my confusion, which fulfilled not thinking the opposite. Exactly. You're most welcome. Linda, hi, my dear. Hi, I went from great to wavering and caused unfavorable actions with SP. And as I thought I was doing better with self concept routine, he ghosted me. Why the opposite or getting worse when I thought that? Okay, sometimes as you're affirming, as you're working, okay, the wavering part also, that's an assumption that I'm going to waver, so I'm going to manifest something bad. Just be easy with yourself and say, I always pick up where I left off. Okay, I always pick up. So all the work you're investing, when I say you're affirming, it's all there in your subconscious mind, right? So it doesn't go away. You just kind of, you continue where you left off. But at the same time, if at some point you manifest something undesirable when you thought you were doing everything correct, sometimes it's a triggered assumption, or it means just there's just a little bit more to go on. Like it's about persisting. That's it. Persisting and remaining unconcerned. Sometimes the patterns of the past may show up, may show up, not necessary, and you just persist through them. You say, that's the old story. I'm gonna continue manifesting. I'm gonna manifest my SP conforming 1,000%. This ghosting is something of the past. It's not happening to me anymore. So sometimes these patterns just pop up because that's what you've manifested or experienced in the past. You kind of need to just persist. I was handling it better. Not sure what the question is. I'm not sure, Linda, what you meant with the second question. You say there's no need to affirm 10,000 times. So I'd like to know if our manifestation depends on how fast we impress, okay, or there are other elements like things that need to happen first. That's also an assumption, that things need to happen first. I was guilty of that in the past. I would say divine timing, you know, all of that. Uh, don't set that assumption. Just persist. Just persist, because sometimes a coach might be giving you guidance that it's all okay, it's all happening perfectly. And so you assume that things need to happen a certain way for you to manifest. Not true, but just persist. That's what I would tell you. It's doing 10,000 times, no, because while you're doing the 10,000 times, not necessarily, you might be saying, well, I'm putting in a lot of work. Why am I not getting my manifestation? So you're going into lack. You know what I mean? It feels like it's hard work. So the idea is, the less you entertain opposing, the faster you stop entertaining opposing thoughts. The faster you stop entertaining opposing thoughts is the faster you manifest. That's what, from my experience overall, whether I was affirming, whether I set an intention, whether I visualized, I just let go of opposing thoughts and did not entertain them. That's when I manifested fastest, essentially. Patrick, hi Mona. There were times I brought myself to a very positive expectation about a desire and got instant mind blowing manifestations. Love those. Feeling so good and expecting. Have you had something similar? Absolutely. There are things I manifest, like I sometimes say, how did I do this? You know, like the other, I'm not going to give exact examples because they might not seem relevant, but sometimes I say, you know what, someone says something to me, we'd like you to do XYZ, and I'm thinking, no, I don't want to do XYZ. I tell them okay, and then the next day they call me, they're like, sorry, we don't need you to do XYZ. That's like that's like literally how I manifest all the time. So uh and there have been like mind-blowing manifestations where in the past, I spoke about this before, I had an investor in a company that I owned many years ago, almost 10 years ago, and I was ready to stop that. I was ready to not work with them anymore. We had different visions. I didn't want it. I felt trapped, and I manifested them contacting me and telling me, let's, we think we need to part ways. This was mind blowing, with nothing that I needed to give them, nothing they needed to give me. It was a very amicable separation with the investor, even though there were contracts involved. I kid you not. Like, they have happened very just, and I actually didn't have any positive expectations. The only thing I did was say, this is what I want. I don't know how it's going to happen. This is what I want. And I'm not going to think about it, because if I'm going to think about it, I'm going to get anxious. So that was my approach. I didn't even have positive expectations. Um, No, let's goddess. There's nothing that needs to happen in your SP's life first. Nothing. You may be looking at your SP's life right now and seeing a roadblock. You are not meant to be bother yourself or concern yourself with any roadblocks in their life. That's why it's very important that you don't know about anything about what's going on with them. You just affirm that you are with your SP, and anything that's in between that and what you're stating, what you're affirming for, has to go. It has to disappear, and it can disappear very fast. You think it takes time, it can happen very fast. Linda, okay, so it was a continuation from the original question. Why did it get worse with the SP when I thought I was handling the situation better? Just affirm. Yeah, okay, I got it. Just keep affirming and persisting and not be concerned. And if some patterns from the past show up, like ghosting or something bad happens, you ignore that and you affirm, that's my new story. This is who my new identity is. That person who got ghosted was here. I am here now. In the past, I used to get ghosted. Now I don't get ghosted, and you continue persisting with that new identity, unconcerned, unwavering. So I think I'll take the last question. It's already been an hour. My angel, thank you. Sometimes I am in high vibration and wish fulfillment state, but today after or so I feel low. Is it okay, or do I need to work on it? Yeah, I answered this question in relation to wish fulfillment earlier in the video. The state of the wish fulfilled is the state is actually being in this, not being in the state of the wish unfulfilled. Excuse my neighbors, I hope you don't hear them. So essentially, it's about not engaging with your opposing thoughts. That's the only thing. Forget about high vibration. That's law of attraction programming. It's not true. High vibration, I've spoken about this in other videos. It's not about being in high vibration. It's about being in content, and not even if you're feeling bad and you're affirming in the state of the wish fulfilled, it absolutely works. Just the thing is, you can't feel bad unless there's something going on in your thoughts. You know what I mean? So that's the idea. So your emotions are reflecting, is there something going on here? Let it go. And a lot of the time in law of attraction, you'd feel bad, and then you'd feel bad about feeling bad, and then you think you're creating something bad as a result. So that's the whole point, that you don't need all that. You don't care about any of that. You can feel bad, doesn't matter. You're not going to manifest anything bad. You're not going to slow down your progress. What matters is your opposing thoughts. Are you spiraling in your opposing thoughts? If yes, just bring yourself back, and where you are predominantly is what matters. How can I ignore 3D while manifesting? I find it very difficult to not react to 3D. Affirm, or do whatever makes you trust in the process. Affirm, keep affirming, you will feel better. And I noticed this from myself as I've affirmed. So that's one of the things that are very super helpful with affirming, is with time you stop getting triggered. But even if you don't affirm, if you don't engage with your opposing thoughts, you don't get triggered either. After listening to you, I always come in the wish fulfillment state. I'm thrilled to hear that. You're welcome, Les. How about feeling sad because you miss a speed? Does that slow down the manifestation? That's the thing with the missing the SP. You're telling yourself the missing is you identifying with the thought that I am not with my SP. If that makes sense. Unless it's a normal kind of missing, not a longing. Because if you were with your SP and they went and they traveled, you're going to miss them, right? It's normal. It's a normal type of missing, but not a longing type of missing. If it's a longing type of missing, it's not helpful. So you wanna affirm that you are with your SP, and you keep affirming and you keep affirming, you literally will start to believe you are with them. And so you can't miss them, you can't long for them. Thank you, Evie. I hope to do this for sure again. We'll see if we'll do this maybe in a couple of weeks. Scripting is great to put you in the state of the wish fulfilled. Absolutely. It's like affirming, but you're just writing. You're welcome, Arena. Love you too. Thank you. You're welcome, Linda. Yes. You can have an assumption, oh, I'm missing them. That may help bring you relief. That's actually a very nice assumption to have. Oh, I'm missing them. Okay, so they must be missing me too. That's a nice way. It brings you relief. But so long as it brings you relief, not makes you long for them even more. You're welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. This was amazing. I enjoy always connecting with you all and answering your questions. And I hope to do this again really soon. Take care, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.